1. Great shot of a mapping section at work from the German 17th Army. Every army and corps size unit and even the biggest divisions had their assigned map unit with the task of printing and updating maps daily for unit distribution and for the war diary. We can see the unit emblem on the left wall and a cartoon drawn on the back wall. Army-level map sections also made use of aerial photos. Two. An 88 Flak 36 or 37 in full recoil as it fires at a target at long range. The Oct, as was known, could knock out just about any tank at its maximum range, which was beyond the range of most tank guns. This particular gun was designated B for Bertha within the battery. The gun's 2 bogies Sonderanhänger 201 are kept close to speed relocation. Notice all crew members are well equipped with winter gear and the Flak Führer, gun's leader, is clearly distinguishable. Also on the right, there are several ammo wicker boxes, which carrying 3 rounds. 3. An image of the winter of 1941-42 with a Panzer IV AUSF D or E parked inconspicuously next to a typical Russian village house. The crew is not sporting any winter gear yet and they are applying the famous winter whitewash camouflage. This whitewash was comprised of a paint which was to be diluted with fuel. It did not have a strong adhesion, for that reason it peeled off easily and produced the famous, washed-out, winter camouflages we find on German vehicles. The crew member is nonetheless applying it already very sparingly, surely seeking a broken and spotty effect. 4. Here we have a super interesting photo of a Marder II in ambush mode. Unit is unidentified. We see the vehicle commander standing by in front of the vehicle. Here we clearly see how effective that spotty washed-out winter camouflage is against the wooden fence. Almost impossible to spot even after several shots taken. For the modelers, look at the details of the house and its decorated windows. There are icy straw on the roof edge. This should give quite an impressive diorama. 5. Westby self-propelled artillery vehicle. Official designation was 105mm Leicht Feldhaubitze 18 auf Fahrgestell Panzerkampfwagen II. It was based on the outdated Panzer II chassis with modified settings to accommodate the extra weight and recoil of the gun. It carried a 10.5 light howitzer with 32 rounds, which already had proven itself as a reliable artillery piece. The vehicle entered service in February 1943 and was produced until June 1944. Take note of the extra stowage the crew installed in the branches lying around to break the shape of the vehicle. 6. Here we have a super sharp Western front photo of a Stug 3 Model G in superb detail. Look the randomness of spots and all the dirt and leaves covering the vehicle. There is another Stug besides this one which implies this must be already a collection point for destroyed vehicles. This G model is identified by the gun mantlet, the superstructure back wall and antenna placement. Also interesting is one of the soldiers is using his boots open and on the right lower corner there is the driver's movable back seat. It seems the vehicle partially burned since those spare wheels are charred. Also the antenna seems broken. In front of the cupola, that black square seems an ammo box. 7. This one is quite an interesting image. This also would make quite an odd diorama. We have a Panzer IV on the Western Front. The soldier doesn't seem to have winter gear, so this should be summer of 1944. It seems to be a Model H, identified by the presence of Zimmerit, the vertical placement of towing shackles, the redesigned spare wheel box and the antenna mount in that position. Regarding unit, that kind of irregular large numbers in red outlined with white, could place this vehicle as from the 12th SS Panzer Division Hitlerjugend, which had similar markings. Also take note on how the barrel and muzzle brakes seem to have an oversprayed camouflage. 8. Clear image of AT-26 in the summer of 1941 during the Barbarossa advance. Identified by the shape of the turret, that headlight and the open front hatch. Destroyed vehicles of any kind were always of interest for any passing soldiers which inspected them on the spot. We can clearly see a penetration hole in the rather thin armor layout of the light tanks. Part of the gun's mantlet is hanging and the barrel also took a hit. Not being a round penetration but rather an asymmetrical hole, it's possible this could be an artillery fragment or internal explosion shrapnel. 9. Typical muddy scene of autumn or spring, where every road turns to a sea of mud. Although this does not seem to be a road. Here we have a SDKF Z6 tractor pulling a horse wooden cart. Notice that the half-track also bears the license plate on the side, which is quite uncommon. The SDKF Z6 was considered a medium 5T vehicle commonly used as an artillery tractor, produced until 1943. 10. Another superb crisp photo of the summer of 1944 in France. With a 17 cm Canon 18 artillery piece in travel mode, it seems abandoned with no visible damage. This massive artillery piece was used in independent batteries attached at army or corps level to add combat power to specific tasks or units, like counter-battery fire. It employed an innovative double recoil system. Firstly, the first recoil was pressed on the cylinder dumpers, one at each side, and then by a carriage assembly which slitted the whole barrel and breech backward, giving no movement for the whole system, thus making it a very accurate and stable gun. It fired a standard 68 kg high explosive shell at 28 km. This particular gun seems to be in German gray oversprayed with German yellow, Dunkelgelb, making this particular gun a veteran with a previous long life. 11. Set in the summer of 1943, during or immediately after the Kursk offensive, this image of Russian origin depicts a captured Wehrmacht soldier from an artillery battery, suffering from shell shock, with one of his comrades lying beside him and the gun totally destroyed. 12. A gun, a 150mm SIG 33 or Schwer Infanteriegeschütz, is a 1927 design already outdated by new German artillery pieces with better performance. Nonetheless, it was issued to Wehrmacht units. It fired a 38 kg high explosive projectile at 4,650 meters and the gun assembly weighed 1,750 kg. It was also installed in several vehicle adaptations like the Bison series and Sturm Infanteriegeschütz 33B. It was considered a substandard weapon due to its weight and very low firing range. Nonetheless, it was issued to Wehrmacht units. 13. The gun is totally destroyed and the barrel is ripped off, testimony on the intense blast hitting the gun. The ordeals waiting this German prisoner are just beginning.
Я Иосиф Сталин, и я одобряю это сообщение.